It's a bear. New coin, though. Good evening. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea for our an evening report, actually. And you know what? For Fridays, I like kind of doing a wrap-up report for the weekend as well and see what happens here on Friday, which was markets were up overall. It looks like my picture's freezing up here a little bit. But take a look at that. The weather, it's summertime here again in South Florida, man, getting hot. It gets in the 80s today as well. Looks like my picture there is a little choppy, but look at that tiny little wave, almost surfable, about knee high. Good for a longboard, probably. All right, let's move into my quote for the day, which is, I do not trust words. I even question actions, but I never doubt patterns. And patterns are kind of, well, if you recognize patterns and if something is consistently repeating a pattern, you can probably trust what it's going to do in the next situation where it has typically completed that same pattern over and over. So, consistency, I should say, is kind of like a pattern. So when you see someone consistently doing something right, consistently doing something good, it's a good indication that you shouldn't probably doubt that. You can doubt the actions that they did last time. You can doubt the words that you're given, but never doubt patterns, never doubt consistency. And we'll get into that a little bit here as well. Just my opinion, throwing it out there. So let's take a look at spot prices here today. This is markets are closed. And again, this is something we don't do very often. Most of the time we're doing it in the morning or early afternoon. So take a look at that, though. Coin was definitely wrong on this one. Maybe, hold on, though. The coin could be for Sunday night. Let's make that bear for Sunday night because that's only fair since the markets are closed right now. I can't say that the coin foretold the past. So Sunday night, coin says bear for Sunday night. Let's see what happens. I'm really surprised, though. We didn't see the smackdown that I was expecting here. Gold closed at 1946.81, considering that it was around 1928, 1930, range bound for the last 2 weeks. Some good strength. Not quite sure what the news was that created this strength. I think job reports and all kinds of stuff came out not too strong. Fed's talking, or Fed's jawboning, raising rates, but let's see what happens with that. Silver was popping near that $25 mark too as well. 24.42 is the low, 24.83 is the high. So the high side of 24. And platinum finally starting to make a move up there. Man, I was getting concerned with platinum. Look at that, 1961. I thought I saw a low of 955. And again, my feeling is when it comes to commodities and things, commodities and certain investments that have been around for a long time, not the flash in the pans, not the meme stocks, so to speak, but good solid investments that have been around for a long time. When you see them, when nobody wants them, and that's what platinum seems like. Platinum, just nobody wanted it below that $1,000 mark. However, I just read that London finally, the London Metals Exchange, or what is it, the London Platinum, LPM or whatever, there's the London Bullion Exchange. How many exchanges they got there? But they're involved with the platinum for Russian. They buy a lot of Russian platinum, and they finally said no more. They put sanctions on Russian platinum, and I think Russia creates about 10% of the platinum and 30% of the palladium. So Russian and platinum and palladium prices shot up dramatically after that sanction. And I'm not quite sure. As I said yesterday, sanctions are pretty much worthless. All they do is strengthen Russia with the strong commodities that it has. Oil, gold, gas, you name it, they got it in commodities. All they're going to do is sell it to China for cheap, and that doesn't help anyone. And sanctions have done nothing. I don't think of it last time you heard that sanctions were actually worthwhile. When's the last sanctions that actually worked? Think about that. What country did sanctions work on? I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's one or two out there, but generally speaking, they suck. They don't work. And in fact, the elite seems to think, the political class and the elite seem to think, oh yeah, because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect their pocketbooks. It doesn't affect their lives. That's why they don't care, and they don't really look at it. They think, oh, well, we'll just make it so they can't sell their goods in the United States, and maybe their people will get pissed off. Well, the truth is, again, sanctions don't work. And if you think about it, what is the ideal situation? The ideal situation is you get Russia, and you get China, and you get the countries that you're competing against. I don't want to call them enemies, and you know my reason why. But you get the people you're competing with to sell you their their commodities for cheap fiat dollars. That's what you do. You encourage Russia to keep selling you cheap oil, cheap gold, cheap all at overinflated fiat petrodollars or whatever the heck it is. Instead, these morons are doing the opposite. But no less, I'm not going to get into that right now. Please don't let me start talking about politicians and media and all that stuff. You know how I get. So there's your numbers right there. Look at the palladium though, up $187. Wow, 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 wow. That's quite a rise. But like I said, they did the sanctions today, and that explains that pretty readily. Don't need a science book to figure that one out. Let's take a look at the 24-hour spot price in gold. And today is the black line right there. And as you can see, it was in the CRIMEX, CME, CRIMEX, New York NYMEX markets. CRIMEX, let's just call them CRIMEX. Let me stop calling them NYMEX. Where you did see prices kind of trigger or head upwards. And again, this downward action that you see right here, this is the paper markets trying to, this is the tail where you see my cursor, trying to wag the dog, which is the physical markets. And I think the swings upward are the physical markets, is what you're seeing, or a result of the physical markets. I believe the dogs are finally wagging the tail. Again, dog being physical markets, tail being the paper markets and the derivatives market. Let's take a look at silver. The same thing, kind of take a look at that though in the morning. Wow, 24.70 up to that range. Look at that too, and slingshots back, I call that the slingshot. Slingshot right back up. There's your paper trade right there. There's your paper trades, there's your physical right there on the upside, trying to move its way upwards, and there's the corrupt CRIMEX paper trades right there, knocking that market downward. You can see it right here too, boom, boom, boom. But you know, it happens before New York NYMEX markets. Don't forget CME Group owns the CRIMEX New York market, and they also own the 23-hour CRIMEX, which they call the Globex market as well. And well, anyway, let's get out of there. We know the story with that. Equities, I haven't talked about equities for a while, but take a look at that. Nasdaq down substantially, down 186 points. S&P down, and the Dow Jones up. I've been saying for quite some time, I believe that there's a heavy hand with the Fed and the Treasury Department and the Presidential Working Group on propping up the markets here. And you can see that here. Let me pop over here real quick, and GATA.org talks about that. Pam and Russ Martins does the New York Fed's trading floor near the Futures Exchange in Chicago cause the gyrations in the stock market. And you know, I kind of got, I'm good at, hey, you know what I'm good at right now? I'm good at taking a sip of wine. By the way, it's wine night. It's not coffee morning. So in the evening reports, we get to toast a wine, and a toast to all my friends out there and all the people listening here. I'm having a Merlot tonight. Actually, Trader Joe's. Nothing real expensive, but they do put out some good wines. I should say not bad. So, yeah, I never doubt patterns, okay? And the patterns are showing me that, where was I going with that? It was pretty good. I took a sip of coffee. Okay, the patterns in the stock market were showing me that, and I don't follow equities. I don't really, you know, but there's one thing, I don't know why I haven't a good sense of patterns, seeing patterns, especially in a macro view and a large view. I can see the way things are moving in large groups and large areas, and I don't know, it's just something I've been very good at all my life, and maybe I'm just making that shit up. I saw the pattern of an equities market like 2 months ago. Remember when they got that 1,100 point slam down on the Dow Jones, and not instantaneous, that day it was a rebound up 1,100 points, all in the same day. Unexplainable, other than I believe it really was Fed, Treasury, and government money to go in there. They are deathly afraid of an economic collapse caused by equities collapse. You know why? Because if they had let the markets just collapse back in 2008, they probably would have been bought up by stronger entities instead of the idiots that still control them today. And the markets would be in a better place than they are. But all they did was just pump the bullet-ridden patient with plasma and Band-Aids, and they fixed nothing back in 2008. They just pumped more money into the system, into the fiat system, and here you go. We're probably in due for a big collapse here at some point. that they won't be able to control. But I believe they're in there pumping up these equities markets. Take a look at crypto too. Crypto's done for. I mean, not crypto. That's unfair for me to say. And I think there's a lot of good cryptos out there, possibilities out there, although it's not my expertise. But Bitcoin, man, you know, once they got involved with ETFs, once they got involved with institutionalizing it, and once they get done regulating it, Bitcoin is pretty much over. I don't think you're going to ever see those. You're not going to. The thought that you're going to invest a couple thousand, become a Bitcoin millionaire, it's done, folks. That's over. It's just, that was a thing of the past, something really cool, but never going to happen again. In fact, as I've always said, governments, and I've said it from day one when I started these videos, governments and bankers hate competition, and they run the world, folks. Just, you know, face it, that's reality. Down, Nasdaq down. I suspect that the Bitcoin was down as well. Let's look at the one-day chart and see. Yep. There's been some speculation that Bitcoin has been following Nasdaq, and why might that happen is because maybe heavy players like Kathy Wood from ARK owns a lot of Bitcoin or something like that. Maybe they're selling it. Who knows? But it does seem to follow the Nasdaq market here, and that was pointed out to me by a couple people. And if you lay the charts over each other, it really looks like that. However, I'm not smart enough to explain it. If someone wants to put some comments down below, I'd appreciate that. So would the listeners. And feel free to comment anytime, folks. Just keep it civil. That's all I ask. So 42,000. I think we were at a high of 47,000 last week for Bitcoin. And that was on the news that the Russians were going to allow oil payments with Bitcoin, which I said I believe was a big mistake. I don't think the Russians really said it was Bitcoin. I think they were talking about using some form of electronic payment between China and Russia, like a crypto type technology that they would use to trade oil with for yuans and rubles and that kind of thing. I think it was misconstrued that the Russians were going to accept Bitcoin, but the Russians know that Bitcoin could be taken away or stopped, or something could happen with Bitcoin. At least they believe it, and they've tried to ban it as well. They don't want competition. Don't forget, Russians and China is no different than the United States, Europe. They hate competition. Their bankers hate competitions, and their politicians hate competition as well. So I believe once everyone figured out that the Russian banks weren't going to accept Bitcoin for oil, that was just kind of a mistake or a miscommunication somehow. We're back down to that 42 level. But hey, listen. Bitcoin stuff is purely speculation on my part, and I won't admit to it. I'm certainly no genius or when it comes to that stuff. But it's just kind of like I said, big picture. I see the big picture more than I see the fine details, and that's the big picture that I see with Bitcoin. As far as best prices out there, folks, I mean, it's still the same thing. It's like a broken record for me for the last 2 or 3 months. If I just talked about premiums, you would have got bored from this video a long time ago. So still 100-ounce bars, still 1 ounce, still 10 ounce, Silver Eagles, still overpriced, Silver Maples, still pricey in my opinion, and other sovereign products over that $6 and $7 per ounce. However, hey, 10-ounce bars, man, they were like a spot plus $6 on these, all right, for small quantities. And so the price, even with JM Bullion, and as you know, I advertise to beat JM. Here comes my marketing pitch right here. As you know, Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale By The Sea advertises we advertise to beat JM Bullion, SD and APMEX Bullion in their commonly reasonably priced silver and gold products. We don't carry a lot of the fancy designs and overpriced stuff that they do as well. And I'm not saying overpriced in their point. I guess they have customers for some of that stuff. But we recommend that if you don't live in South Florida, of course, because I can't ship to you, unfortunately not yet. Maybe one day I'll do a online service. But we are brick and mortar only, and you have to come in our store 10 to 4 to buy from us. But again, we have really good products, great service with a smile, and face-to-face, something you can't get there. And we do cash and carry up to a certain amount as well. Let's talk about gold. Gold's the same thing. Gold bars are still the best deal out there. Next best deal would be Krugerrands. I've got a few kangaroos left. And again, I advertise to be JM, APMEX, and SD Bullion. But I don't ship, folks. Like I said, if you don't live in South Florida and you can't come visit me, please find yourself a good local dealer. Keep that money local if you can. Let's get into Ted Butler real quick. Again, product stuff is so simple. It really is. Again, just buy the cheapest possible premium you can for a recognizable product. And I don't mean recognizable by your friend, your buddy, or whoever got you into precious metals, but recognizable by the industry. Buy the cheapest premium that you can, folks. That applies to gold and silver. Ted, oh gosh, I don't want to give up Butler's thing, but he had a nice little comment in here, and forgive me, but where is it right here? Sorry, I have been convinced that silver is suppressed. And oh my gosh, here it is. It has been said, gosh, I just showed you most of his article. By the way, I'm a subscriber of Ted Butler. He has some great stuff. I think when it comes to the manipulation of price of silver, he's the man to listen to. He really is. I am a subscriber. I recommend that if you have enough money invested in silver, or you're a dealer in precious metals and you want to know more about how silver is manipulated, because of course the game is rigged. If you don't play, you can't win. And we know this casino's rigged, and Ted tells you how it's done. But it has been said, paraphrasing, that insanity is defined by expecting a different outcome to an exercise that has always ended the same way previously. But I'm not entirely sure that fully applies in this case, at least to the extent of previous similar market structure setups for many reasons. For starters, silver is perhaps the only industrial commodity that hasn't soared in price, and no one can name an industrial metal trading at 50% of previous price highs. Plus, no one can deny that silver has experienced a near record investment demand, as evidenced by record premiums for retails of metal and high demand for silver. So basically, what Ted's talking about, he's pointing out these things, that silver is definitely manipulated, folks. There's no doubt about it. We all know this. And at some point, and again, I don't want to give up his whole article here. We'll discuss that more later. I felt like I showed too much from a prepaid article anyway. Forgive me, Mr. Butler. But no less, he points out that it's coming to be known. More and more people are aware that the New York comics markets are not more than likely, they're collusive. These big commercial short positions are collusive. They know it. They refuse to respond to emails. They refuse to respond to phone calls. The CFTC is either complicit or inept, in my opinion, of doing anything. And they don't deny it, which is even the biggest thing. They don't deny it. And when you look at this kind of stuff, and you look at Bank of America with its recent huge position in gold, precious metals, derivative position, there's really something hinky going on out there, folks. But again, we talk about this all the time. I'm going to move into trust, all right? And one of the things that I don't know if many of you remember this. This goes back some years ago. Here it is, 2016. Federal judge sentences coin and precious metal dealers. And this was, I think he's going to hand the Tolving company, Hans Tolving. I met Hans Tolving, and he seemed like a really nice gentleman, but he, and across the industry wide, he purchased a lot of gold and silver from people, but apparently he wasn't doing the right thing. And he was one of the largest online sellers at the time. I think this is I don't want to say pre-APMEX when he was operating, but it might have been. And this is pre-SD Bullion, I believe, and pre-JM. Maybe not, but no less, Hans Tolving was a biggie out there. He was doing millions and millions and millions of dollars in business. According to court documents, he defrauded more than 380 victims. Again, this is according to the court documents, nationwide of over $15 million. Hans Tolving, the Tolving Company, pled guilty to wire count fraud in 2015. And I believe this stuff actually went down in around 2012. Why I'm getting into this is because people ask me all the time, do you trust the online companies? Do you trust sending your money? And I get a lot of people that they just won't do it. They just are not going to ship out their money to precious metal dealers online. You know, and again, if you notice, I use JM Bullion because they're a publicly traded company. You would think you'd have some heads up if something was happening with them. But no less, you know, again, being a publicly traded company, it's a little more transparent than privately traded companies. So that's why I kind of think that out of all the big bullion companies out there, JM would be the most likely that you could kind of see that there was issues based on the papers and the filings that they had to file all the time. But that company seems pretty strong. But no less, hey, companies fail, man. Big companies go down. Small companies go down all the time. Big companies go down. Hans Tolving was one of those big guys. If you just type in the word Hans Tolving, Hannes Tolving right here, company, you'll see what happened back then. It's kind of an interesting read. But lo and behold, guess what I found? Tolving and Company still has their videos up online. I went to look at a few of them. They're super short, and really there's no talking. Nobody's talking about anything. It's just music played in the background. Kind of cool videos as they're unpacking and packing these different bars. And you'll recognize some of these products. Obviously, Silver Eagle's down here. Now, whether this is Tolving stuff, I don't know. Whether he was just filming someone else's warehouse full of bars and silver while he wasn't delivering, I don't know, okay? And no less, I'm not here to pass judgment or pretend I know about this stuff, but his video is still out there called Tolving Company, 16,000 subscribers still. That's something. Think about that, folks. And this is probably 2012, 10 years ago. And it doesn't. Let's see if it says the date on here. This is Hans Tolving. 10 years. March 7th, 2012 is when this video was made. And again, I found it interesting. Not only is his video still out there, but so is his bio, all about Hans Tolving Jr., president of the Tolving Company. This is not something that was created after, all right, after or anytime in 2016. This page, I think, was created much earlier than that. Where was it? It talks about his age and who he was and this kind of stuff right here. The Hans Tolving Company has been with the same bank since 1990. The Tolving Company since 1990. So he did build up quite himself an empire there, and was probably one of the pioneers of the large bullion sellers. I don't know if much of the people in the industry with me would disagree with me, but he was probably one of the pioneers in large internet bullion sellers out there. But again, private company, not public. And where else? Well, why did I kind of get into that? Because, there are a lot of online sellers out there. I've had a couple people call me and ask me, say, Brian, listen, some of the companies are talking about delays on certain products, and do you think there's issues? I mean, of course, if I had money, I had shipped out and I had to order precious metals and I had not received them yet. And don't forget, folks, we do the same thing here in the store, except you're welcome to camp out on my front door and watch us all the time. We're fine with that. You can't do that with an online company, though. You can't camp out on their doorstep, You can't go in there and look them at face to face and look at the employee with the down look, knowing that they're going down the next day. With local businesses, you can. There is some comfort in that, but no less. The things to look for, and where I was going with that, I was going with warnings, what to look for. And where was my warning here? I had a warning symbol there. There you go, warning. Well, right now everyone's experiencing delays in certain products, 1 ounce, 10 ounce products. I think 100 ounces are fairly available. So your dealer very well can be taking orders for you right now on 1 ounce and 10 ounce products, and some kilo products, generics specifically, and tell you that these could be 4 to 6 weeks out, folks, and they very well may be. That's kind of legit to me right now, sounding legit. But if you're being told that your 100 ounce bars are going to be 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, 2 weeks out, or your Krugerrands, especially any gold products, if you're experiencing any kind of delays in gold 1 ounce bars, Krugerrands, Eagles, that kind of thing, I mean, any reasonable delays, when we take checks, we have a mandatory policy that we do 8 days before we actually deliver the item. Nothing to do with, I'm going to take a sip of wine, by the way, and cheers to everybody here. Friday night, thank God it's Friday. So I have an 8-day hold on everything. I don't care who it is, my own mother. So in the event of clawback and other issues, and it also scares away fraudulent activity. And don't forget, a fraudulent activity can take a company down as well. And we're very good at stopping fraudsters here. I don't even think they when they look at our store, they say no. When they hear about our policy, they go, no, we're not going in there. So a little draconian to some degree, but again, I scare those guys away. No less, if you got big delays on gold products, and I'm going to go into gold products right here with JM and see what they got in stock. If your online dealer is saying that they got long delays on certain gold products, especially the more popular ones, then you probably should be a bit concerned. Again, this is not saying that they may have a delayed delivery on something or something along that lines, but gold products really aren't having in-stock gold. Say, let's just look at JM Bullion here. Look, availability, and that's pretty much true. A lot of these products, the premiums are pretty high on gold, but they are available. So again, if you're getting any kind of runaround with delayed delivery on any of these products that you're looking at, and again, I have them readily available in stock, cash and carry, and also for order. But there should be no delays on a lot of gold products. And if you're getting delays, I would be a little bit concerned, folks. And again, I'm not saying that's for sure, but I think possibly I would be concerned if you're getting jerked around on that. 100-ounce bars, kilos, and again, they have kilos in stock and availability. I don't right now. I got to place orders for them for people. So, but don't forget, JM Bullion owns a couple mints. They're a public company and that kind of thing. And I can still beat their prices regardless, in stock or out of stock, but no less. A lot of silver products are getting a little tough to deal with. So if you're a little concerned that your online dealer, your local dealer is delayed on delivering 1s, 10s, kilos, that kind of thing, it's probably true. He is probably having a hard time getting deliveries right now. As far as Silver Eagles, they're readily available out there, folks, at a price which is way too high in my opinion, so I'd avoid them 100%. However, 100-ounce bars, there is no delay. Well, a couple companies are having delays, but for the most part, you should not be waiting long periods of time for 100-ounce bars. And again, if you've been waiting a long period for 100-ounce bars, I'd be a little suspicious that the company you're dealing with might be a little bit weak. And again, these were the warning signs that I'm talking about. What would I consider not weak? All right, warning signs, like I said, would be delivery issues with gold right now, or delivery issues with 100-ounce bars. Those are warning signs for online companies with me right now. Another warning sign is, you know what I like, and I know this screws some new guys in the industry and new guys in the business, but I like the decade rule. I have a decade rule. Is that I believe that they've been there as a decade, and they have a fairly good reputation or a good reputation, and they're professionals and they know what they're doing. I like the decade club. I'd even spend a little bit more with a guy that's been in business for a decade, especially if I was giving him a check and waiting for my product or buying online. I want a decade plus guy that's been around with a good reputation. Less than a decade is, I don't want to say a warning sign, because everyone has to start somewhere. And again, when it comes to local business, that's the beauty of local business too, is you can walk in, you can look the guy in the eye, and trust me, when I tell you that, you know, your gut feeling is generally right, you can tell when someone's a scumbag or not. Your gut tells you. Most of the time, the only time you ever get scammed is when you avoid listening to your gut feeling. So that would be a warning sign right there. Is not a warning. I hate to say, but my rule is 10 years. I like the decade club. What other warning signs would I be concerned with? Lots of fancy promotional material, salesmen, and I'd be especially leery of anyone that starts talking about confiscation. You should buy numismatics and you should buy certified U.S. gold coins because of this and that, especially if they've not been around for a decade or more. And most of those telemarketing companies are overnight kind of dealies anyway, and that's what they sell mostly, is overpriced certified coins. And nothing wrong with certified coins. You see my shows before, but that's the go-to for a lot of telemarketing companies that overcharge for shit. Other symptoms to look for, let's see, grumpiness is not one of them, because a lot of local coin dealers seem to be grumpy out there. I don't know what to say. All right, listen, there's a lot of warning signs, but you know the best warning sign I can tell you is follow your gut. But to the folks that have been asking me about delays and shipping and stuff like that, if you're getting delays in shipping in gold, I would be concerned right now. If you're getting delays in shipping in some silver products, and maybe not so much, okay? And I can't stress enough also, local. The worst case scenario is you can drive by their business every day or put up a small tent out in front of their place and make sure to sit there until your stuff comes in, you know, or see if they're loading stuff out at night. I'm joking halfway, but again, the decade rule I think is a good rule as well. You're generally okay. But Hans Tobing was around, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, he barely lasted 5 years, man. He was about a 5-year guy. Maybe that's about the most that these big companies that go belly up like Hans did. And again, I don't know how Hans went up. I don't know if he maliciously went up or just let it get away from him. But neither way, he still spent time in prison. I think he got out in 18 or something like that, or I don't know when he's getting out. He still spent time in prison. A lot of people lost a lot of money. So it didn't end well. Again, folks, limit your risk by following your gut feelings. Let me take a look at what's going on gata.org real quick here as well. Not too much, man. Russia, no. And I'm going to go into ZH, but when I start getting into political stuff and me with a little bit of wine, I've had like less than a half a glass here. Another sip and toast to my friends out there. Let's see here. Maybe I can get Trader Joe's to sponsor me with wine here. No, I doubt it. BOFA sees a big slowdown coming. Bank One sees a big slowdown. No shit, Sherlocks. I mean, what? How much do you pay people to tell you this stuff, dumbasses? I'm sorry, I gotta say it. That doesn't surprise me at all. Let's take a look. I'm gonna do a quickie here. You know me, I can go off on this political economic stuff. And people say, why do you talk politics, man? Listen, politics, economics plays directly into the price of gold and silver because we all know a declining empire with a declining fiat currency is the direct result of idiocy, moronic political leaders and leadership and officials as well. So there you go in a nutshell. David Stockman on coming biblical proportions. Boy, nothing looks good out here. Financial doom. I got to say one thing about ZH. You don't read this stuff in the Wall Street Journal, you know. They do bombard you with some very, a lot of it, you know, it's truthful in some way, but it is a little cataclysmic in some degree. Take a look at that. Financial doom. Looks like the end of time. Excuse me, the end of times. Ah, man. Still got that little tickle in my throat from a couple days ago. But so far, I think the wine is killing it. Bonds and stocks batters as hawkish Fed flexes. Europe panics. And good on him, man. That's good. There's the article I was looking for. Palladium, platinum soar after London market blocks Russian products, okay? And let's take a look at here. Diamonds, the whole 9 years. The decision comes a month after an industry group, the crooked London bullion market, LBMA suspended the accreditation. Yeah, F you, LBMA. You're a bunch of crooks. You're no better than the CME group and crooked Crimex, in my opinion, and the opinions of people that are way smarter than me. Just how reliant is the world on Russian metals? Norsec nickel produces 25 to 30% of the world's palladium supply, folks. So get ready for a big increase in the price of palladium, although it was up, 180 or some stupid money amount today. Palladium is like that, though, and 10% of platinum. So you got to see at least a 10% move up in platinum, right? You would think. Maybe I'm just correlating 10% here with that number, but no less. Take a look at that, man. But I felt those metals are pretty cheap. Maybe we'll see, I think we're going to see over $1,000 platinum next week. And with the prices up like this, I'm really surprised. Gold and silver, haven't seen the smackdown that I expected yet, but no less, you know, it'll happen at some point. But I think we're going to see the slingshot. And what's the slingshot? Well, you know, you've been following me. There's the slingshot. Bam and bam. See that right there? Slingshot's back right up. So even if we see that smackdown again, I don't think it's going to stay there. I honestly believe that the dog is wagging the tail, folks. And where are we going from here? You know what? I'm done. I'm done with the newsy stuff. You guys can read this stuff yourself on ZH and, you know, Sunday, Saturday mornings. Again, best thing you can do is avoid the corporate news, man, because what a bunch of trash that is as well. UK stole Australian gold. That was my video yesterday. By the way, please. No, I'm just joking. Hit the like button, and if you could, hit the subscribe button as well. It kind of lets me know who's watching and what's going on out there. I'd like to thank everybody that commented. I got some new folks out here too as well. Hey, Michael, no coffee today. It's a wine night. And sort by newest first. And since it's the Friday night video, I got to eat dinner here soon, but and I still got a third of a glass of wine left here. Let me go over some of the questions and comments here. I'd like to thank all of you folks for watching. Of course, you know I try not to mention your names, but then I start doing it, and then well, anyway. Eric, Clayton, Helen, what's up? Bulls, I think you had a coin show. Yeah. The other coin was putting up bulls all week, but hey, listen, I think it's just it's just odds on what side the coin is going to end on. Helen, hey, what's up? Oh, hey, there's some porn right there. You know what? Since you're watching here, let's remove that. Should have done that earlier. Sorry about that. Jellyfish don't die. They just, would they just rust or something? Hey, Joe, what's going on? Heart of Texas. Appreciate your comments there. And nice to see you. J.M. Bullion has product because they own Sunshine Mint. Keith Neumeyer says that he has plenty of silver. The backup is with the mints. I would say that's kind of true. All of last year, my orders from First Majestic were shipped from Canada, but most were shipped from Scottsdale Mint. Oh, that's kind of interesting as well. Thanks for commenting, Clayton. I appreciate that, and I hope you have a good weekend. Heart of Texas. There you go. It's a sheep head. Oh, yeah, the one with the stripes. Did I say sheep head? I don't remember, but I did ask the audience out there what kind of fish they thought it was. Gosh, I got to take another sip of wine here. Give me 1 second. William, hey, man, Celtic knot. Yep, sheephead or black drum. Physical in your hands. Hey, Wildcat and David. I'm looking for some questions here to answer. Cloudier, Mr. Monk, and Brexit, and Silver Loving Lou. Appreciate that. Man, I hope I got my wiring harness coming in I've been waiting for that damn car since October, that Mercedes. Damn it. I ordered a Sprinter in case you didn't see yesterday's video, and I've been waiting since October for it. Damn. Silver's lagging, yeah, but you know what? Silver, again, provides a good opportunity to buy the real stuff at this artificially low paper prices, in my opinion. However, if you're short on life, that's not you don't want to hear that. So, especially as we get older, we want it faster. Jason Todd Joker, that's a good deal. Hey, Alan O'Brien says that's some heavy. Yeah, man. That is some heavy shit, man. John Gordon. John, yeah. Hey, John, cheer up, though. We'll have our day. Believe me on this. And sounded polite and cordial. Thank you, Joe Rock. I think so, too. Great video. Thank you, Silver. I appreciate that, Mr. Silverliner. Question authority always, as I say. Yeah, it was a trash truck. It wasn't a mobile crematorium unit. Gosh. And, well, in war, the first victim is truth, propaganda and truth. Scott and Allen, thank you very much. Joshua Rhodes, P.S. Will Bob, thank you guys. Let's see, where am I going? Kevin, Chuck Stuff, Rich, yep, never forget. Boy, what a lot of great commenters out there, a lot of good stuff. Just looking for a question, didn't really see it. But thank you, folks. I really appreciate Huffman, Coret Manis, and Michael Matthews. Here, I'm going to take a sip of wine. One more. Trust me, it's not one more, but gonna have another glass here. Well, I'm gonna call it, folks. This is the end of tonight's video for Friday. I hope you have yourself a wonderful weekend. There I go. Weekend, and my meme theme for the year: think for yourself, question authority, and most of all, question your narrative. Question what you believe to be the truth. Once you start questioning yourself, you'll find that a lot of things weren't your own narratives. They weren't your own truths. You were given them it was given to you by media, by school, by your parents, So it's never too late in life to question what you think you know as truth. And once you do that, you become much better at seeing it in other people and other things. Well, as I said, think for yourself, question authority, and most of all, have yourself a wonderful weekend. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you live in South Florida, call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. I have a staff store with really great people with nice smiles willing to help you out. And we can give you the best deal out there, too. And as you know, I beat the other guys. So I hope you have a good local dealer in your town that can do the same. As I said, if you don't live down here, unfortunately, you need to find a good local dealer. Please do that. Keep that money in your town and your city. Hey, thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye now.